Yo, I'm live. Yes, guys. Now I'm probably going to go to Microsoft website in order to read the terms and condition. So lately, I've tried to read Microsoft terms, but it's hard for me to concentrate. So I think by going online and read it out loud, there's a different like new setting in mind. This is a mosquito murderer. I mean, this is a mosquito swatter. So there's probably a new thing in mind, a new setting in mind that can help me give different nuances so that I could have a better understanding or a better point of view, new point of view of the terms and condition. Because sometimes when I'm reading it, like guys, it's like escapes my mind, and I'm gonna try not to be very copying in terms of very like I'm gonna try to interrupt and comment just so that it could be more transformative. So if you want to read it yourself, please do the the link. You know what? Sorry about that. I'm gonna give you the link. I'm gonna give you the link. Please wait a minute. I'm gonna put the link in the description and in the comment section. This is this is the site. This there are a lot more to read, but this is a start, right? This is the policy that applies if you use supposedly if you use Microsoft product or Microsoft platform, but we'll see further because this is not the main terms and condition. This is like sub terms and condition, and the reason I probably would want to go online also because there's an extra. Oh my bad, sorry. There's an extra requirement in here that I kind of not used to. I go online to find a new setting, if that makes sense. So in here, straight up child sexual exploitation and abuse. Um, but the story goes a long way, right? It's starting from here. I've read some of it. It says Microsoft content and conduct policies help promote a positive and safe experience for users by explaining what behaviors and content are not allowed on our services. So it seems like the this is a content that is made available for the public, probably Microsoft Store, where you can post your applications over there, Microsoft Forum. I think they kind of have Bing videos, but those Bing videos like referencing to other sites. Microsoft consumer online products, websites, and services have rules about what type of content and conduct are not allowed. The Microsoft Service Agreement. So if you have Xbox, by the way, and I think Skype is discontinued already. The terms are available here, Microsoft Service Agreement, but and code of conduct that explains what is not allowed and what to expect when accessing services like Xbox and Teams, right? Prohibited content and conduct are defined below. So we're talking about scope here. There are multiple rules, so we're kind of confused. Okay, which rules apply to what action or what activities? I think this is a general prohibition for including my Xbox and Teams. From what we have just read, prohibited content and conduct are defined below. uh, these rules apply regardless of whether the content is created by users or by generative AI. When reviewing content and conduct and enforcing these policies, we carefully consider values such as privacy, freedom of speech, access to information. We also make exceptions in limited circumstances when content that may otherwise violate our policies is important for news gathering, education, science, research, art, or other societal values. But guys, we don't know particularly which points that they are talking about here. Most likely, it is not all. All right. Abuse of our platform and services. Do not misuse any of Microsoft's services. Do not use any Microsoft service to harm, degrade, or negatively affect the operations of our other networks, of ours or others' networks, services, and any other infrastructure. Examples of violative material include gaining or attempting to gain unauthorized access to any secure systems such as accounts, computer systems, networks, or any other services or infrastructure. Deploying or attempting to deploy software or code of any kind on unauthorized systems that may negatively affect the operations of our or other networks, services, or any other infrastructure. Okay, gaining or attempting or to gain unauthorized access um, is like hacking. Deploying or attempting to deploy software or code or any kind of unauthorized systems, it's like hacking, but like you are not focusing on it. It's just like an auto program. Disrupting or attempting to disrupt um, Microsoft or other services or any other systems through any activities, including but not limited to denial of service attacks. So again, hacking, but it's more like dimming the operation rather than messing with it um, for a while. But so it's just like a one-time thing, and then attempting to or successfully bypassing or circumventing access to usage or availability of the service, attempting to jailbreak an AI system or unauthorized scraping. This includes attempt to subvert enforcement placed on your account. All right. But the thing is, there are AIs that are being censored, and we are not being told upfront what are the things that are being censored. So some people are being creative and figure out loopholes on how to make the AI say the things that it is not supposed to be saying. That it not supposed to, like, the AI weren't like preventing itself from saying. I mean, I'm sure this is a deliberate action against some type of internal policy. Still the same, still it is something that is not communicated with you, and it seems like these things are in the gray area. All right, so like there are things that we want to know, like for example, how are you using our data? You ask that into AI kind of would be acting like, oh, I don't know, I'm just a third party. And then somehow you figure out how the AI, kind of help you out in telling, oh, you know what, this company and this company is using your data to make a lot of money, and it's not giving you any of it to you. You probably could negotiate. I'm not saying sue, absolutely not. I'm not saying sue, but probably, you gather up all of these people, not having it, not even doing any class action. It's You're just saying, yo, you know what, we're like one of those people that kind of contributed. So if it's okay with you, we want to do this and that, and do this and that. For many occasions you can do that in the society, but because of the electronic nature and the digital nature, it's so distant that we cannot communicate to these companies, to these multinational companies, and have this what usually is available to us. You know what I mean? It's not always available to us now. So it's like, we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to kind of monetize um, things that are that are helpful for other people as well. And then bullying and harassment. Microsoft seeks to create a safe and inclusive environment where you can engage with others and express yourself free from abuse. We do not allow content or conduct that targets a person or group with abusive behavior. Uh, Safe environment where you can engage with others. Do not allow content or conduct that targets a person or group with abusive behavior. But here's the thing, we just talk about privacy things, right? But these companies, they outsource their services. Like there are other companies where, if there's something wrong, they would not be responsible because these companies are third party contractors and they are the one who's supposed to be managing this data well. And in Microsoft privacy policy, I'm just saying, as well as many other companies' privacy policies, they just saying like, oh, if you use our services, you allow us to use third party contractors and let them use your data. But guys, they're not responsible for it, and we don't know who these third parties are. So we are pretty exposed, and and kind of being told that we are not supposed to be having an abusive behavior. Well, we why aren't you saying in your privacy policy, okay, that these third party contractors have to follow our privacy policy, have to follow the privacy policy that we are agreeing together with you and me, right? Because when I use a service, I just want to deal with the provider. I don't want to deal with other people. I don't want to worry about that. But because of necessities, because of reality, sometimes, even including myself, I need other people's help. And some with that, I kind of tell some story about other people. But there are ways to abuse other people from that, and I don't want to be held responsible for that. But of course, these people also have to be able to protect themselves. So if the if we're if we don't want to be abused, we got to help other people not get abused as well. That's what I'm saying. And then this includes any action that harasses, intimidates, or threatens others, hurts people by insulting or belittling them, continuous contact or interaction that is unwelcome, especially where contact causes others to fear injury. I think uh, a greater protection against this is scrutiny and attribution, where the very people who performed these acts perform it in not in disguise, right? Where they put themselves out there, and if such things ever happened, I think people could scrutinize these people. The society can scrutinize these people. Obviously, this society are not perfect judges, but I think if Microsoft would kind of for example, the third party contractors that know a lot of things about your privacy would be able to be prevented from using your information against you, by intimidating you, or selling you scams, and then intimidating you so that you would be mentally weak, so that you can be scammed, things like that. um, like for example, business competition, you're supposed to be getting that job, but you're overwhelmed with this abuse, something like that. I think if we can if we can defend ourselves and expose these people had performed these acts, these uncommendable acts against us, we can defend ourselves, right? Um, and then continuing on, child sexual exploitation and abuse. Microsoft is committed to protecting children from online harm. We do not allow the exploitation or of children or any harm or threat of harm to children on our services. This includes banning the use of our services to further child sexual exploitation and abuse, or CSIA. CSIA is any content or activity that harms or threatens to harm a child through exploitation, trafficking, extortion, endangerment, or sexualization. This includes creating or sharing visual media that contains sexual content that involves or sexualizes a child, or sharing links to applications or tools that do so. Cecilia also includes grooming, which is the inappropriate interaction with children by contacting private messaging or talking with a child to ask for or offer sex or sexual content, sharing content that is sexually suggestive, or planning to meet with a child for sexual encounters. Other forms of exploitation are also prohibited, such as convincing a child to share sexual content and then threatening to share the content with others unless the child provides money or something else of a value. A child is anyone under 18 years old. When we become aware of content or conduct violating these policies, Microsoft reports it to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So here's the thing, guys. So if you have no respect of privacy, right? Pretty likely you would also have no respect to morality. Okay. I know a lot of inmates don't want to be associated with child molesters, but the kind of people who do these secrecy crimes have confidence over their secrecy or their anonymity, which makes them not one of those criminals, right? Which makes them like, yeah, what I'm saying is, which makes them different, different types of person from these criminals. And maybe a little bit more the same compared to people who are committed to be ethical. But there are two types of people, like they're not like, they're distinct because they are, their crimes is trespassing, related to trespassing. Their specialty of crimes is in terms of trespassing. So some would do harm just because, not because it is, not because of wanting to uh, harm children in particular, but the ability to do that, the ability to trespass into a family that has children, just being able to do that is an achievement to these already crooked minds. And things like that, right, guys, is should be able to be protected uh, by us, the holder of privacy. If we can protect our privacy better, we can also be able to defend ourselves from these type of criminals. So we got to improve. This is a room for improvement, guys. We got to be able to improve our our ability to say no in terms of our privacy. So we got to improve that. I know that AI, the AI race is keep on going right now, and some people use piracy to get ahead. But maybe there's an answer, there's an angel in the detail here, where we can stop violations against our potential, particularly monetization through our own data, through the exploration and the improvement of privacy concerns or privacy property the protection of this property, the technology to protect this property. Coordination of harm. Our products and services should never be used to hurt people, including to cause physical harm. Cooperating or making specific plans with others with the shared purpose of harming someone physically is not allowed. So you use Microsoft platform to organize attack against other people. I think Microsoft don't want to be participating in that. I would support it. I would support it 100%. Um, there's a case where you want to be able to organize to protect people. I think this is also should it's pretty difficult because sometimes attacks is disguised as protection, but this is where the community should be able to have certain level of power to protect their own property, right? Because the community is going to scrutinize, and through the scrutinization of the community, we can figure out the true circumstances. Deceptive generative AI election content. Microsoft seeks to foster a trustworthy information environment where voters are empowered with the information they need to vote for the candidates and issues of their choosing. Microsoft prohibits the creation or dissemination of deceptive generative AI election content. This includes AI generated audio, video, or images that deceptively fake or alter the appearance, voice, or actions of political candidates. Like for example, you go fishing and you caught a fish that you're not supposed to be taking home, but because the fish is, even though small, the fish is beautiful, you're like, you know what, it fits into my terrarium, so you stole it anyway. And somebody recorded you doing that, but instead of putting your face on it, they put a politician's face on it using AI. That is the type of thing that Microsoft don't want, and I support that. Right. Exposure of personal information. Do not use Microsoft products and services to share personal or confidential information about a person without authorization. Right? Nice. Prohibited activities may include sharing personal data, such as location that may result in endangering someone else, account username, passwords, or other information used for the purposes of account credentialing, government issued information such as social security numbers or passport numbers, private financial information including bank account numbers and credit card numbers, or any other information which facilitates fraudulent transactions or identity theft. Now, this is a little bit of a gray area. If you use M365, for example, or Outlook, you would probably use it for working purposes. Some small business is not going to use enterprise version, even though that is what it's meant to be used. Some people have a home, like when they do it for their family, they help out their elderly parents, or maybe they help out their technologically retarded cousin. They kind of have this data online. So how are Microsoft supposed to be, dealing with this? Um, because they use, for example, they use emails to send this information, and then Microsoft say, do not do this, do not share this. That would that be in violation of this code of conduct? What is this? A prohibition document? I don't know. I think it would be nice if Microsoft could give a clarification on this. Health information. There you go. Elderly parents. Health information, including healthcare records, confidential employment records. So if you're like doing sorting out CV application, for example, that is being given to you. Maybe you take your work home and somehow you need to use a different laptop, for example, so you use your storage device to transfer your from your work from your company's laptop to your own laptop. This is probably in violation of this policy. So like I would personally, I would want to pay attention to that. And if I want to be a professional worker, I would want to be able to perform really well and improve on this matter, and therefore I got to pay attention to this. But it's pretty hard, you know what I mean, like when doing daily jobs involves this type of exchange of information, and suddenly we're going to be in violation of Microsoft policy. Would that if like we I don't like to be in a position where I am violating an agreement or a contract. Like I want to be able to focus on all of the stuff that I'm focusing on without having to worry or without having to manage a status where I am a violator. I want to reduce that as much as possible, right? I don't care if it is not enforced. You know what I mean? I don't want to care because I value a contract or written document a lot. I think, like for example, marriage certificate is a written document. Money, the numbers in the money is a written document. Your land certificate is a written document. The power in a written document, written official document, especially rules like this, is something that can be relied upon, and is actually making business, creating business. And I think, I don't like having an extra problem like this, even though it's probably a little mosquito bite or something. Sometimes bite can cause malaria. So, I mean, I don't look down on this at all. I think I want to be able to be clear. You know what I mean? Especially if you are an accountant, you're doing business like for book record keeping, and your client are the type of person who respects these things. I think your performance would be valued more, right? Because of you, people can navigate around not just the business world, but the rules and regulation world uh, pretty easily, because it's like it's right there. It is well summarized. It has a good ratio that is reliable, and also it is a property, because written things has property, that it provides property. And it's like, it's a lot of value. It's a lot of value for accountants. It's a lot of value for clients of accountants. And I think a lot of people missed on that. But when they are dealing with a more complicated issue, they would appreciate assurance more, including assurance in terms of rules and regulation. And I think this loophole, for example, have you ever heard someone be someone like experiencing grief, like a couple whose wife were experiencing something bad in Disney, but because they are subscribed to Disney Plus, right? There's a clause where they cannot sue Disney Plus. They should go to arbitration, if I'm not mistaken. So they ended up not being able to sue Disney. That is the thing. That's the kind of thing that you would want to be able to anticipate beforehand. Obviously, these people are not going to anticipate that beforehand. They didn't see it coming. So in the professional world, things like that could be an extra value for a consultant, for example, that you notice this and you say, like, you know what? It says this and you have agreed, and then you agreed on that, and then that, which means the combination of these facts means that you are exposed to this issue, but they are, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like something like that. And it's something that, why do I have to use your service when you are putting me in this position where I am not clear. I am not in a clear position. There are no attribution. There are no easy way to attribute. I think that is not. It is not. It's a huge company. It's hard to accommodate everyone. You know what I mean? Um, I wish I could have an alternative. You know what I mean? Graphic violence and human gore. Real world violent content can be disturbing, offensive, or even traumatic for users. We also understand that some violent or graphic images may be newsworthy or important for educational or research purposes. And we consider these factors when reviewing content and enforcing our policies. We do not permit any visual content that promotes real world violence or human gore. This may include images or videos that shows real acts or serious physical harm or death against a person or group. This is pretty hard. What if you want to display a terrorist, uh, like an emergency, violent domestic abuse against a real person or people? Yes, it is an emergency. What happened? You want to be able to protect some people. Severe effects of violence or physical trauma, such as internal organs or tissues, burnt remains of a person, severed limbs, or beheading. Ooh. Yeah, but the thing is also, guys, this is a private company. So as an owner, you should be able to say what you don't want to deal with. Okay, so I am not against entrepreneurship at all, but there is a line where when you are a monopoly, right, and people cannot do anything else. Even if you are an entrepreneur, you would understand that if your supplier, for example, is so powerful, you cannot refuse the price that he asked for. That sucks, right? So we got to be able to be, have a nice business practice, a diversified business practice, a resilient business practice. Even though we got to pay extra, a little bit extra for redundancy or diversification, I think that is the right price. And the price below that, like maybe like piracy users or those that want to minimize price as possible, as much as possible, those who aim to be a unicorn, that sell things below price, things like that should eventually stop, because that is hurting the market, right? So yeah, but by being more and more diversified is the direction of improvement of society. So you don't want to go, like, if you're a big company, right, and you don't want to create a culture in the world, in the public, a public that supports your private ownership. You don't want to spread the culture of cheapness and slavery mindset so that you can enjoy cheaper prices in the short term. You want to create a culture where people are diversified, people are rich. So there are a lot of alternatives you can do, a lot of alternatives you can go for when things are not working out over here. So you can go there, you can go here, you can go there, you can go everywhere. All right. Sucks. And then hateful conduct. Microsoft wants to create online spaces where everyone can participate and feel welcome. We do not allow hateful conduct or content that attacks, insults, or degrades someone because of a protected trait such as their race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, disability status, or caste. In enforcing this policy, we work to ensure that people can use our services to document, research, or express opposition to hateful conduct. Hateful conduct includes encouraging or supporting violence against someone because of a protected trait. Dehumanizing statements such as comparing someone to an animal or other non-human because of a protected trait, promoting harmful stereotypes about people because of a protected trait, calling for segregation, exclusion, or intimidation of people because of their protected trait. Symbols, logos, or other images that are widely recognized as communicating hatred or racial superiority. I think there are a lot of things like this going on in the internet right now. Because of the situation in the Middle East in particular. And also, I think in Africa, people are not looking at Africa. There's still crazy things going on over there. So there are a lot of people who would already have been covering this in ways that I could not cover, and then in a point of view that I could not see also. And intellectual property infringement. Microsoft respects the intellectual property rights of others, and we expect you to do the same. Okay, this is their platform right here. To the extent certain Microsoft features allow for the creation or upload of user generated content, Microsoft does not allow posting, sharing, or sending any content that violates or infringes someone else's copyrights, trademarks, or other intellectual property rights. Yes, yes, this is pretty good. I think for the sake of advancement of technology, the law of intellectual property being prioritized in this world right now instead of teachers, instead of doctors, I think it has some merit because, like for example, a chef, their recipes are not protected, right? Right. I don't know what's going on in some places, but from what I know, the recipes are not protected. Like I mean, you cannot focus on all of the things. That is not a focus. Intellectual property is focusing on technology, right? But I think there still needs to be a ways for people to reward those who deserve it, right? It doesn't mean that when you're focusing on technology, that means it's over. Of course not, right? Like it would be an improvement, definitely, like it's a natural law of nature. It would be or law of economy that is natural economy, that if you reward the goods and services, that's a purchase. If you don't reward the goods and services, that's a donation probably. Okay, next, non-consensual intimate imagery and intimate extortion. Microsoft does not allow the sharing or creation of sexually intimate images of someone without their permission, also called non consensual intimate imagery or NCII. This non consensual, oh, this is like a revenge content, right? Like someone got cheated by their partner and they publish these things. Like we don't want to deal with that, right? I personally don't want to know, to be honest with you, right? That's the court's business, and probably the people who are the closest to you that are directly impacted with this. Like if I am not impacted with this, please don't show this. Like for example, an affair online, which is very popular right now. There I just can't get rid of it. I just like, dude, I don't want to see it. Get away. That's their business. Okay, this includes photorealistic NCII content created or altered using technology, or sharing or promoting applications that use generative AI to create sexually intimate images of people without their consent. We do not allow NCII to be distributed on our services, nor do we allow any content that praises, supports, or requests NCI. The thing is, Microsoft, you like services like you outsource. How are you going to stop this being done by your third party contractors, right? Like I don't understand how am I being protected from the third party? I don't understand, to be honest with you. Additionally, Microsoft does not allow any threads to share or publish NCII, also called intimate extortion. This includes asking for or threatening a person to get money, images, or other valuable things in exchange for not making the NCII public. Wow, dude. That's like these people, if you do this kind of extortion, right, you should be put in jail, and all of the information that you know should be used for the sake of your victim, right? Oh, sexual solicitation. Microsoft does not allow people to use its products and services to ask for or offer sexual services, or sexual content in exchange. But then things that you know also probably involves, like they probably were obtained illegally. So that's also shit. That's not good. I'm sorry. So, eh, uh sexual solicitation. Microsoft does not allow people to use its products and services to ask for or offer sexual services, or sexual content in exchange for money or something else of value. Okay, so no prostitution, no sexual solicitation, spam. Microsoft does not tolerate any form of spam on our platforms or services. Spam is any content that is excessively posted, repetitive, untargeted, unwanted, or unsolicited. Examples of prohibited spam practices include sending unsolicited message to users or posting comments that are commercial, repetitive, or deceptive. Using titles, thumbnails, descriptions, or tags to mislead users into believing the content is about a different topic or category than it is. You know what, guys? This commercial thing is old. Like, there's a better way of approaching this. You only get one or two times, right? So if you went into chat, you can promote something once or twice. All right. Other than that, it's over. No, no more. Right? Maybe if the streamer say not at all, it's not at all. But consider like maybe once or twice, because this is people, like we are interacting with people, and people do business to. This is a huge part of their life. So talking, having an opinion is also something that is an expression, personal expression, and we want to have that. But having a business is also a personal expression. I think it's nice, to know, like, oh, I am a CEO of this company, we are innovative, we're about to break through, or something like that. I would like to, like, that is a part of getting to know other people, and it's better than to say, "Hello, yo, I'm a furry." Like, I don't want to know that, man. I don't care. It's like if you say, "Yo, I'm a business owner," I'm like, "Yo, yeah, yo, tell me more," right? And then using titles, thumbnails, description, or text to mislead others into believing the content is about different topic or category than it is. Sending unwanted or unsolicited bulk email postings, contact requests, SMS messages, instant messages, or similar electronic communications. Using deceptive or abusive tactics to attempt to deceive or manipulate ranking or other algorithmic systems, including link spamming, social media schemes, cloaking, or keyword stuffing. Okay, scams, fraud, or and phishing. Microsoft does not tolerate any form of scams, fraud, phishing, or deceptive practice. Oh, it's biting me when I didn't expect it. Uh, Scams, fraud, and phishing include any intentional act or omission designed to deceive others to generate personal or financial benefit. Additionally, phishing includes sending emails or other electronic communications to fraudulently or unlawfully induce recipients to reveal personal or sensitive information. Hmm. Examples of scams, fraud, and phishing include content that promises viewers a legitimate or relevant offer, but instead redirects them somewhere different off site. Okay, offers. It's like an anime, guys. Right? You're being like, oh, um, like, uh, okay, san, buy this, buy that, and then suddenly you got transported into another world. I don't think. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just a joke. Uh, Promises viewers a legitimate or relevant offer, but instead redirects them somewhere different off-site, and offers cash gifts, get rich quick schemes, pyramid schemes, or other fraudulent or illegal activities. Sells engagement metrics such as views, likes, comments, or any other metric on the platform, uses false or misleading header information or deceptive subject lines, fails to promote, fails to provide a valid physical postal address of the sender or a clear and conspicuous way to opt out of receiving future emails. Oh yeah. Sales engagement metrics or use false or misleading header, fails to provide a valid physical postal address. Uh, why is this like fails to provide? Why is this scam? Why is failing to provide a valid physical postal address of the sender or a clear and conspicuous way to opt out of receiving future emails? Uh, is a spam, phishing, what's going on? Attempts to deceive users or audiences into visiting websites intended to facilitate the spread or harmful malware or spyware. Includes fake login screens or alert emails used to trick and steal personal information or account login details. Be careful, guys. There are a lot of methods that people do this, and sometimes they do that without you knowing or without you being told about that. Yeah, I think this kind of stuffs, peers beyond our horizon, and there should be a company or a specialized army uh, to deal with this. Like, I mean, our tax dollars, or we should, or maybe for some people, specific insurance payment, should go to these people, this specialized army or professionals that go into war against these scammers, hackers, and people who benefit, who pirate, right? Benefit from us without giving anything back, being a negative part of the economy. Suicide and self-injury. We work to remove any content about suicide and self-harm that could be dangerous. We also strive to ensure that people may use our services to talk about mental health, share their stories, or join groups with others who have been affected by suicide or self injury. Prohibited content includes supporting general ways people can end their lives, such as by firearm, hanging, or drug overdose, encouraging someone, showing images of praising those who have died, self injury content demonstrates, praises, or inspires physical harm to oneself, including through cutting, burning, or carving one's skin. It also includes content that encourages or instructs on eating disorders, or systematic over or under eating. The thing is, like, we got to be a part of the or the order or the sequences that keeps on going on. So when you are depressed, or when you feel like indifferent, even just indifferent, you're not like, you are looking forward to things. There is a problem, guys, because when you feel like you want to keep on going on, that is what's where it's supposed to be. That is godly. All right. But when you don't, when you feel like, I don't like that, that is, that is something that is like not godly. Why? Because it's about the sequences that keeps on going on, and you become a part of that. That is partly a part of becoming a part of God, right? So if you're not there, that's a problem, right? And it's different. You are not normal. You are sick. You have to uh, you have to be always looking forward to life. And then violent extremism and terrorism. At Microsoft, we recognize that we have an important role to play in preventing violent extremists, including terrorists and terrorist groups, from abusing online platforms. We do not allow content that promotes or glorifies violent extremists, helps them to recruit or encourages or enables their activities. We look to the United Nations Security Council's consolidated list to identify terrorists or terrorist groups. Violent extremists include people who embrace an ideology or violence or violent hatred towards another group. Uh, in addressing violent extremist content, we also work to ensure that people can use our services to talk about violent extremism. So, this is an exception. Violent extremism or terrorism, share news or research about it, or express his opposition to it. Yeah, totally oppose a lot of persecution of my people, the Christian people in Africa, and now in Syria also. So that is a problem. It's a huge problem, guys. Trafficking. Our services should never be used to exploit people, endanger them, or otherwise threaten their physical safety. Microsoft does not allow any kind of human trafficking on our service. And also these kind of things relates, right? So how come Boko Haram starting to emerge again? Where do there got to be weapons, right? Where do they got the money to buy all of these weapons? Like, what is the agenda, the bigger agenda that is going on? The war in the Middle East also had been always been like that, and I think it has become a black market sources of what of income of some sort. So if there are no war, there are groups of people that had been living a lifestyle that have to change their lifestyle. That is an incentive to keep war going on. And unfortunately, guys, we are not scrutinizing that enough. We have to scrutinize what's going on right now. Why are people being killed? And um, and from there, we figure out how to solve the problem. And because some of these people didn't go to war. Like, these people are rich, they stay at home, they look like normal people, they don't harm people directly in their life, but they kind of finance the atrocities that is going on somewhere else. So violence could not solve it, like could not 100% clean the problem. Eh, we gotta expose and then provide alternative. Unfortunately, guys, there's a point where we just gotta be admit that everyone is wrong. So some of the stuff that we usually would condemn, We should be able to say, you know what, we're not gonna condemn you that much. Maybe we still ask for compensation, but you know what, like I have done something really, really bad, probably. I have facilitated something that is also really, really bad, probably. I have paid tax to a government that have performed really crazy stuff, probably. And you know what? Let's let's have a let's have a little bit of alternative. You know what I mean? Like rather than vengeance or punishment or severe punishment, why don't we you know just have a different alternative, like take a different route, take a different path. We still pay compensation, of course, but um, we just don't do this, we don't do that, we don't have access to this, we don't have access to that. We'll probably make some people really poor, uh, but we're not gonna kill them. Or maybe exposing them would also mean exposing all of the other people, so that person would not feel so lonely. And maybe those people would go in jail or something, but a lot of other people also go to jail, and ended up, because it's so many people, we ended up do something that makes them not really that embarrassed. You know what I mean? But because that's the truth, right? A lot of people are actually really, really bad as well, and they're like condemning other people. My God doesn't come in the world to condemn, but to solve problems, right? So the most important thing, I think, for these kind of things to not get repeated again in the future, all right? But we have this asset or an administration that is preserving itself, that is not being addressed. We need to address this administration that keeps on like an organism, self-sustaining. Only the parts of it being put to jail, but the administration itself, but the venture or the organization itself or the formation itself is not being scrambled. It's not being. I think it's more important to destroy the system rather than just destroy the people. It's very small. The person you put this guy on in jail, it's very small, guys. You gotta destroy the whole administration, and from that you got the answer is mercy and grace. But you got, yeah, of course you got to put the price, like this is expensive, okay, so that people would know the grace is expensive as well. I think a lot of us need that, including myself also. So next, where was it? Trafficking, human trafficking on our surface. Trafficking happens when someone exploits someone else for personal gain by depriving them of their human rights. Trafficking commonly. So we saw all of these rules and regulation. Don't read it people tend to read rules and regulation condemning in a condemning position, like, oh, this side is holy and that side is dirty. No, no, guys, the point of rules and regulation is to show how dirty everybody is, and then figure it out from there so that everyone could openly, black on white, written on paper, let things go, like, and heal and move on, right? That's the real, that's that's like utilizing the law. If you're not utilizing the law like that, you're missing out. Like, that's huge. You're missing out a huge point of the law. um Microsoft does not allow any kind of human trafficking on our services. Trafficking happens when someone exploits someone else for personal gain. by depriving them of their human rights. Trafficking commonly includes three parts. Someone is moved, relocated, paid for, or abducted through the use of or threat or force or coercion, or through lies or trickery for money, status, or some other kind of gain. Trafficking includes forcing people to work, marry, engage in sexual activity, or undergo medical treatments or operations without their consent. Oh, and is not limited to any age or background. So, but guys, the worst of the worst, like the jail guys needs money to operate. The thing is, we need UBI. So who's going to be prioritized? Like there's a point when in order to open up other people's crime, um, you know, we need finance, and we got the direct finance to somewhere to that. You know, violent threats, incitement, and glorification of violence. Microsoft does not permit content that encourages violence against other people through violent threats or incitement. Threats of violence are, I'm sorry, threats of violence are words that show a specific intention to cause someone serious physical harm. Slang or obviously exaggerated remarks usually don't count as violent threats. Incitement is material that calls for, provokes, or is likely to result in serious physical harm to a person or group. I mean, guys, like death penalty. What about we call for death penalty legally? What about that? We also do not allow for glorification of violence through content that celebrates or supports real acts of violence, causing serious physical harm to people or groups, including violence that happened in the past. It's not glorification; it's mourning. It's like we don't have the resource, and these demons, like this, like the, you know what I mean, like the war gotta happen, the accidents gotta happen, like the natural disaster got to happen. So rather than people who are categorically innocent being the one that is, if we could trade that with people who are like, make us have to wait another 100 years to figure out how to not die safely, or to have a better law, or to have a better system. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nothing personal. It's like it's psychopathic, but it's actually for the for the opening up the way to solution, like to justice, right? Virus, spyware, or malware. Do not use any Microsoft products or and services to host, run, transmit, or otherwise distribute harmful software such as viruses, spyware, and malware. Do not host, run, transmit, or otherwise distribute harmful software that damages or impairs the operation of Microsoft's third parties network, infrastructure, servers, or end user devices. Examples of prohibited activities include transmitting software to damage Microsoft or another party's device, embedding code in software to track and log users' activities, downloading software without the consent of an end user, or using fraudulent or misleading means to deceive user into clicking links, visiting websites, or downloading software. Like there are some people that they get access to somebody's social media, and they kind of be able to communicate in a unattributable manner and incite violence. I would imagine. I don't have any proof, but probably people who perform, like, their behavior changes. Was it AI or was it a criminal? you know, and we could not identify these people, and like we should be able to scrutinize them. And these people may be worse. These people may be worse than the obvious perpetrator, because these people probably have done to a lot of people, do it to a lot of people, and causes things that are enjoyable to be consumed from obscurity. So what kind of things are that? The violation of our privacy and stuff, things like that, and things that are worse than that. That is like one of the worst things. I don't know, guys. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.